Hey, welcome to my channel where I've lost 175 pounds with keto and carnivore. Thank you for watching. Back here is where I'm going to be making my baked beans. Well, later. But first I have to I'm going to boil up jicama. I don't really want to do a whole bunch of it. I'll save the rest of this because I like it on my salad. But so I'm going to boil up some of those. And then this I'll toss in the refrigerator. This was a really good one. There's like no brown spots on this one. So I've got it filled to about halfway maybe. Not quite. Yeah, about halfway. And let's see, right rear. So I want these to boil and kind of soften up because I don't want them super soft, but we have to think of it in the texture of a bean. And bean is soft, but it's not mashed, although it is mashable. But anyway, so I'm going to bring that to a boil and let this boil for a little while. This stove is going to be working hard today because last but not least is some really small cubed rutabaga so that we can try the baked bean topping on rutabaga and jicama and a mix of them together. But that's later on down the road. This will take several hours to get these to warm up and to soften up and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to let these go. Meanwhile, our pork butt is still going over there. So these are the rutabaga that I want to try to use with the baked bean sauce when I get it ready. So I poured the water off. I'm kind of letting it sit. And I'm going to set this off to the side. And I'll use these for the baked beans sauce later. And still working on the jicama back here for the beans. It's still pretty chewy or pretty crispy. Ow. I'm gonna let those keep going. And in a minute, we're gonna switch to the bean, the sauce for the beans. For the baked beans, I'm gonna start off with sautéing up just a little bit of yellow onions, not a whole lot, just maybe a tablespoon worth. I'm just gonna kind of sauté that up, soften them up, get them a little sweet, and then we'll get to the other parts of it. We're going to add these real crumbled bacon pieces to it. These are really, really good ones. These I got at Sam's. They're a little pricey, but they're really, really nice. They're a lot different than the cheapy Great Value ones. So now the bacon's already cooked. It just really needs to kind of sweat a little bit with the onions. So that's why I did the onions before the bacon. I'm not trying to crisp up the bacon, just trying to sweat it a little bit, bring out that bacony flavor. A lot of us, depending on where we live, we don't have access to a lot of things. Some of y'all don't have access to rutabaga, some don't have access to jicama. So I cut up an eggplant. I peeled it and I put it into cubes. And I've got it back here in some water boiling. Not necessarily to soften it because it's already soft vegetable. But just to kind of, just kind of soften it a little bit maybe is what I should say. I'm not going to have the macros for this because I didn't weigh everything out. So first we're going to experiment and see what happens. And then I'll make sure I tell you the ingredients though. And then this is the G. Hughes sugar-free original barbecue sauce. I want a lot because I want to put it on different textures. So I'm using all that is left in here. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of water to it. I added maybe about 1/8 of a cup of water. Just to kind of get the rest of it out of there. And I added that to the onions and the bacon. And then I really liked the sweet chili, the G sweet chili the other day. In that combination, when I put it on my pork, it really, really tasted like baked beans. So now I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. The reason why I'm adding the water is to get the last little bit out of the bottom. Yes, I am that person. So that's going. I'm going to kind of let this heat up a little bit, and I'll be right back. I'm going to put just a little bit of Dijon mustard in it. Okay. Mustard, farts. A little bit of garlic powder. What I did was I read the baked bean label to see what was some of the things that were in it. And these are some of the ingredients that I could kind of make out. Like it had vinegar and this, that, and the other. And so these were just some, like they had sugar and brown sugar, but I'm thinking the G Hughes, both of the G Hughes things will take care of that aspect of it. Good night, I got mustard all up here. All right, I'm going to let this simmer just a few minutes. Okay, to give it a little more of a tomatoey flavor, we're going to add just some G Hughes ketchup. Now, let me get a little spoon and we'll see what we think. I'm cooking this and my mom's going to be eating some, so I don't necessarily need to lick the spoon. Although she's the one that gave me all my germs, so maybe I'll just do it this way. That's good. Maybe a little more, maybe some cinnamon. Hang on. I saw that listed on the recipe. Yeah. It's like the barbecue baked beans, not the really sweet baked beans. If you want that, you could add some oh, let's just do it. Hang on. Since this is a take somewhere, let's put in some brown sugar and give it a good flavor. I'll put in, this is the Swerve brown sugar. I'll put in about that much. It's that one. All right, now let's see what we think. Yep. That is really, really good. So now I'm just going to turn it real far down on low just to let it kind of stay together. And as soon as the jicama is done, we'll try a little on that. We'll try a little bit on the eggplant. And we can try some on the rutabaga back here. So we're just going to try it on the different flavors. I also have some ground beef I'm going to put with it. I think I'm going to put that in there now. Because it's already cooked. Just to give it a hearty flavor. Oops, I was about to throw that in the trash can. Hang on. It'll be a hearty flavor, but it'll also give it some more texture. One of the things that I would take with me to picnics, and it was gone. I mean, it was one of the first things gone. It was ground beef, a can of baked beans, 2 cans of baked beans, 2 cans of kidney beans, and 2 cans of sometimes lima beans. But then there was another, I don't know, I've got saved in my phone. And then a whole bunch of sugar, like a whole bunch of white sugar and a bunch of brown sugar. And but there was ground beef in it. And that was always the first thing to go whenever I take it somewhere. So now I'm going to let this all kind of just simmer on low and just kind of chill out, and all the flavors meld together until the other stuff is ready to go. So this is how it's going to go down. This is eggplant, this is rutabaga, and this is jicama. I'm going to put a little bit of my sauce into each one and mix it up and see which one has the best flavor and texture. So I'm going to mix them up and let them sit a few minutes, then I'll get back to you. All right, this first one is the eggplant. Too mushy. Let's try the rutabaga. Good flavor, but too mushy. Jicama. A little too crunchy, but still the flavor, it matches. It's almost like the bean is not quite fully cooked, you know? I'm thinking the jicama, but I'm going to go back to the rutabaga would taste fine. I just cooked it too long. It will be good for me to eat alone, you know, not take somewhere. I would like it. But if I'm going to take it to something, I'm going to use the jicama. The eggplant tastes fine too. It's just, again, too soft. So, I would say stick with the jicama. Now, let's put it together on the jicama. Hang on. So, I'm going to mix the juice into the jicama before I put it in there, before I transfer it, because we're going to bake it, kind of like traditional baked beans. And whenever I used to take the stuff that I was talking about earlier to events, I did it in a crock pot. I would take it in a crock pot, I'd dump it together about 2 hours before I left, and I would put it in the crock pot, and then it would be in the crock pot while, and then they would be served hot. Sorry, I know that's an annoying sound. So when I would take the stuff that I was talking about earlier, I would take it in the crock pot, and it would be in the crock pot, and I would serve it warm. I could do that with this as well, but we're going to go traditional with it, and we're going to do it as baked beans. We're going to bake it. Got my oven preheating to 350. Transfer it into here. If anything, it might could use a little salt, but I'm not going to do it just in case I'm wrong. So we are going to bake it at 350 for about 30 minutes. It's all cooked. I just want all the flavors to kind of blend together. So I'm putting it in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes. Y'all know I'm not going to let anything go to waste. So this is the eggplant parmesan. or the eggplant. And you know, there's eggplant parmesan. So I'm going to put some of this Mediterranean starter that I got in there with it. I'm going to stir it up. And this is just going to be, you know, some kind of random side dish that I'll pull out and eat. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to put some Parmesan cheese in it. So it'll be like a real eggplant Parmesan, only without regular pasta sauce. It'll just be this, this one. This ain't going nowhere. This is just for me to use around here. Let's taste it. Yep. Put a little spaghetti sauce with it, but that stuff tastes fine. So I'm going to just put this in a couple different containers, and that'll be a couple side dishes for me because I'm not wasting nothing. I got 2 of these, so that'll be a couple sides. I don't need any more than that because with the cheese in it, that's going to definitely be some calories. So there you go. I'm going to toss these in the freezer, and you'll see me grab them out sometime. Our faux baked beans are done. Baked jicama, I don't know what to call it. We're going to take a bite and see what we think. Alright, that's how it looks. Y'all, that's hotter than diddly. But y'all, that's good. That's a winner chicken dinner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jicama beans, baked jicama baked beans. I don't know what we're going to call it. I'll figure it out when I upload it. But that is good. If you have jicama near you and you want that baked bean feel, so you could take this somewhere and people will be like, oh, that's interesting. And just don't tell them what it is. When it cooked for that 30 minutes, it softened up the texture of the jicama too. Y'all, I'm excited about this one. I can't wait to show Mom this one. I like it. Yay!